Hey guys, it's Gitsie and welcome to another Paladin gaming review here on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at the versus evil game Antihero, which is from indie developer Conkling. It's based on a strategic digital board game, as you'll see when we go into the game, and it's due for release on July 12th for PC and mobile devices shortly after. We were lucky enough to get our hands on a key. The game is currently in first access on itch.io and it's available for preview only. The game itself is similar in art style to games like Don't Starve. Obviously not the same developers, and you'll see when we go into the game that the style of it is actually incredibly different from Don't Starve. It's based around, as I said, a board game, so there are squares that you have to scout out and reveal. The point of the game is to achieve the best guild. So you have your own thieves guild in the town. You play against a enemy guild, and you have to infiltrate buildings. You have to burgle houses. You have to assassinate people, and you have to overcome obstacles that your enemy sets for you. You'll see more of those as we go through. Now, in the tutorial, it gives you some really handy hints of exactly what it is that you need to do. So if this is not a game style that you're familiar with, this is a really easy game to learn. It's not an easy game to master, which I found out, but to learn, it's actually quite easy. I would suggest that if you are not familiar with this, that you definitely do the tutorial first before you go into any kind of skirmishes. Now, you play the role of a master scout. The scout that I'm playing here is Lightfinger, which is the blue team, and your enemy is the red team. You basically battle it out to take control of a town, if you like. So you have opposite guilds. You can each have each have access to the same upgrades, the same buildings. You can infiltrate each other's buildings either. There's absolutely no disadvantage on either team. You hire street urchins and thugs and gangs and other other playable characters, which you can move around the map or the board if you like. One of the main things that I like about this game is the fact that it's so interactive. For instance, later on in the game, I purchased a evacuation team, if you like. They can go around and evict people. It's obviously set in like an oldie world town, so rather than it being sort of anything super modern, it's a really, really old dude in a horse and cart, which I thought was really, really funny. One of the things that I would say about the tutorial is that although it's very clear, it's not incredibly expansive. The maps in the skirmishes are much bigger than this, and it would have been nice to have had a bit more room to play around on. But other than that, the tutorial is spot on. You can learn so much just from playing the tutorial. It's insane. You can see here that the enemy team has thrown out some thugs. They act as obstacles. You have to get through those, obviously, by attacking. You are prompted to do certain things throughout your turn, so you're never at a disadvantage. You can obviously skip past all of this. So, for instance, if you didn't want to upgrade, not that you wouldn't, you can skip this part. Instead of taking an action each turn, you can also take charity, which is at the bottom of the screen there in the middle, which is either 4 gold or 2 lanterns. Gold is used to purchase new members of your guild, so you can have urchins, thugs, a gang. You can obviously have the victor, and there are other playable characters that you can choose as well. And then the lanterns actually are used to upgrade your guild. You'll see very shortly what that means. So for instance, purchasing the dagger that we just bought, or if you want to increase the size of your guild by having things like brewing and things like that, you can do those. One of the things that I noticed most in the tutorial is that the street urchins, although they're incredibly useful, can sometimes be a little bit laggy. I don't know if that was just the way that I was playing the game, but I was putting them into the buildings and I wasn't necessarily always getting the extra lanterns. Having said that though, it is, you know, a tutorial, so maybe some of the elements are missing, I don't know. It gives you an indication of how best to play the game, but the strategy that you use is entirely down to you. I didn't really try any strategy when I was playing a skirmish. I didn't win that game. Maybe that's because I wasn't applying any strategy. But I certainly enjoyed the actual gameplay itself. Because it's set in a kind of Victorian England, there are parts of the game which are definitely reminiscent of games like Lords of Waterdeep. If anyone has played any of those games, it's set in the D&D universe, so a little bit previous to Victorian England. But this certainly does remind me of that game. In terms of digital board games, it's a genre that I personally am really, really interested in. I follow quite well on Kickstarter and Steam. And I have to say, this is definitely one of the better digital board games that I've played. The artwork is fantastic, the game is laid out really well, and if you ever need any hints or tips or anything to kind of guide you through the process, that's available to you. The map itself, as I said, in tutorial is kind of small, but in a skirmish it does get a lot bigger. You can see here that it's doing little funny animations when I'm getting my lanterns and my gold, so this game could definitely be marketed towards younger players. So if you are a parent, or you maybe have a younger sibling who really enjoys board games and wants to make the transition to PC gaming, this could be a really good starter game for them. There definitely isn't anything here that would fall out of a younger person's grip, if you like. The way to win the game is to earn victory points, and you earn victory points by blackmailing, by assassinating, and by upgrading. So, for instance, we are in the process of trying to get through this thug so that we can go and infiltrate the church. Once you infiltrate the church, you get an infiltration victory point, which then you can use to win the game. So you can see here we are having the option to upgrade things. We also have the option to purchase items. So we're purchasing another street urchin here, which we can use to put into the church. And there we have the blackmail. That gives us a victory point, which means that we won that game. So once you finish the tutorial, you can go and have a look at the skirmishes. You can choose a random or the wharf, masquerade, or big city. I chose to have a look at big city because I thought that would be the most interesting. You can then choose from a number of different characters. I don't know if these give you any additional abilities. Certainly when I played with Thea, I didn't have anything different than when I did when I played with Lightfinger. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with the different characters when you develop them. And you can see here that the map gets a lot bigger when you go into a skirmish, so there's a lot more area to cover, which is good. So yeah guys, that's my review of Antihero from Versus Evil. I will definitely be looking to pick up this game when it goes to full release, and I think I'm very excited to see where they take it in the terms of maybe any DLC or additional packs that you can purchase. I think if you're looking for a nice game for a friend or family member who is, as I said, making the transition from board games to PC gaming, this would be an ideal purchase. But if you yourself are a PC gamer and you're just really interested in board gaming and the theme of things like Lords of Waterdeep and London, the board game, I think this would definitely be a really good purchase for you to pick up. As I said, all the links to Versus Evil and Antihero, including the trailer for the game, will actually be down below, so make sure you check that out. And if you haven't already, head over to Paladin Gaming and check out the website there. The games that you can purchase on Paladin are always guaranteed to be 10 to 15% cheaper than anywhere else on the internet, and it means that you're supporting a small business as well as saving yourself some money and supporting streamers like myself.